My senior year of high school, I had battled through basically a year of being considered undersized as a linebacker in my league. By the end of my senior year, I was again all league in my league and also all Riverside County as well. Yet, a personal battle for me was I wasn't getting any offers from any schools, and it was very difficult for me at a time because I was constantly hounding myself, constantly worried whether what am I going to do with my future. And at the time, I didn't consider junior college football because I thought you would just get stuck here, and that was it. But it finally broke through, and the University of Iowa offered me a full scholarship to play fullback there, as well as the University of Harvard. And it came in as such a rush, and it was something that for me was just such a personal battle and brought me happiness that I knew that someone appreciated my abilities as well. So, as well as that, my football coach brought up a quote one game, and it was, the more difficult the battle is, the better your happiness is. And it's actually a quote by a famous soccer player named Pele. The more difficult the victory, the greater the happiness in winning. And with that, I completely agree because I feel like the up-road battles that you go through, whether it's school, work, or athletics, or whatever you're into, the more that you work for it and you actually achieve it, the greater happiness you deserve that you get from it. I agree with this quote as well. Also, I'm going to tell you about 3 areas in your life that you see this in. It's going to be school, work, and athletics. Going into work, we all have difficult tasks at work, whether you're working with just like yard work at home or whether you're actually working. And I know that when you work hard because you want to get that promotion, and then you finally get that promotion, and it brings you happiness because you know you worked hard for it, you deserved it. You know that you're the one who put the work in. No one else did, just you. And that's what makes it the happiness come in more because of how much you put into it, as well as your time and your effort. On to the next part, school. We all have that subject that we struggle with, and we also need to study, and for me, that was always math. And math was just difficult for me, and I remember taking a test and studying for it, and I needed the grade, and I got a 93, and when I only needed a 70, and it was just like, made me happy because I knew that not only was I going to get more money for school, I was also going to look better on my college applications, as well as for football coaches coming in. I know deep down personally I was never the best at school, so whenever I did study hard and worked hard for a grade, I was always had the brightest smile. It just brings you happiness. As a part of that, happiness is just, you'd rather be happy than sad. You don't want to get a test back and have a 63 and then you end up failing the class. Another place you see this, and especially for athletes, is in your athletic battles. Athletics, you basically, every time you play, you either win or you lose. And every time you go through that uphill battle, or whether it doesn't even have to be a game. It could be a hard practice. It could be you learning a new technique. It could be anything. And the fact that it's an uphill battle and you put the time and the effort in and you work on it is what gives you that happiness of knowing that you completed it. You did it by yourself. You didn't need anyone's help. You figured it out yourself. You did it all on your own. And especially if it was difficult for you, it's just something that, again, it makes you happy, makes you want to work even harder, gives you that more knowledge, makes you more wiser for anyone who needs help, and you can tell them and you can relate your knowledge onto them. So as we go through life, these three areas, we're all gonna have difficult times. and with the difficult times, persevering through them, and actually succeeding is what gives you great happiness in this world. Thank you.
Oh my God, you're so right. You're so right. And always, she's like full lies out of the van. She's like, it's a no fail, right?
Yeah.
That's the same thing. Okay.
Why is that in the van?
Yeah, the van like so loud because it's and she's like so ready to get out of the car and she literally just jumps out of the van and she's like screaming out loud because she's like how do you not remember that? It's like the only memorable part.
All right, Chance, the personal story at the beginning I think is pretty good. You mentioned a couple of schools that you're probably considering. That's nice to have those on the table, and I think does create a little bit of interest. You kind of transition to the quote, and once the quote shows up, it basically turns into an impromptu speech that you've prepared. It really feels like the supporting structure is, kind of ambiguous, and it is very general in nature. There's a high degree of abstractness to some of the things that you're talking about. And a prepared speech, I think we're going to demand things that are a little bit more concrete and specific. You have a couple of examples that are good. I like the math section, for instance, when that's actually the section when I thought you did the best job speaking to us. Your facial expressions looked a lot more animated when you were talking about that, and you seemed a little bit more engaged. You have a tendency to shift your weight from one foot to the other and back and forth, and that looks like it's a little bit of anxiety that's coming out. Your eye contact is very problematic from the beginning. You do look up occasionally, but your tendency is to look down while you are talking to us and kind of look away from the center of the audience off to the side and then down. And so that appears to be disengagement with the audience rather than engagement, and that's something that you don't want to have. The visuals are okay. They mostly just create a structure. You lucked out that the one button that you pushed didn't turn it off. Thank goodness. Sometimes we just get lucky, and you just got lucky in that situation. But that it worked out in the long run, so that's fine. We can hear you pretty well. I do think that you could increase the energy level by changing the volume of your voice. There was nothing problematic about any of the paralinguistic things, but there's nothing particularly memorable about it either. So it's not so much a criticism as it is, these are places that you can do more, and I think you're missing the opportunity to do a little bit more there. All right, thank you.